Hey, church, hope you are well today. Hard to believe that we are into November, but here we are. This Sunday, we will do part 3 in this 5-part sermon series about Jesus building his church and continue to work on our way through Matthew 16. And we're looking at verses 18 to 20 this Sunday. Just a couple of verses. It's enough, trust me. Beginning of this little section, Jesus says to us this phrase, the gates of Hades will not overcome it. It referring back to the church and its good confession we talked about last week. This is a really difficult, curious, complicated phrase, the gates of Hades or the gates of hell. And a lot of people have really wrestled with what this exactly means. And we're going to look at that Sunday in the context of this passage. I was in a discussion this morning with some friends in life group that kind of got into this area of evil in our world. Clearly, this is a reference to evil, the gates of Hades, the gates of hell. And what is the role of evil in this world? We have this sense that the world is getting worse. That's probably, if I asked you this question, is the world worse today than it used to be, or is it getting better? Most of us instinctively, I think, would say, or reflexively would say, well, it's getting worse. About a year ago, I listened to a really fascinating podcast. I'll link it here in the email, from a podcast called Good Faith that actually makes the case that the world in general is getting better and has been getting better for some time. If that's something you wonder about, I really encourage you to listen to that. Regardless of whether the world is getting worse or better, we, as Christians, we acknowledge the presence of evil in our world, and not just as a force, but evil personified, that the devil is a reality, and that the devil is present in some way still. This raises a lot of questions that we may ask, questions like, well, what is the relationship of evil to Christ? Has Christ overcome evil, or is that battle still to be fought or won? What kind of power or authority does evil have or activity have in the world around us? And what, as a church, as followers of Christ, what's our relationship to evil? How are we to respond to or go after, if you will, evil? These are all questions we're going to explore. We won't get to the end of the exploration Sunday, but we're going to look at what Jesus is teaching us here when he tells us that the gates of Hades, the gates of hell, the gates of death are not going to overcome the church. There's some powerful good news here that I'm eager to share with you, and would encourage you to spend some time, as always, if you can, in these verses, just reflecting and asking God to begin to reveal to you what Christ is teaching us here. I'll do my best to faithfully share an interpretation Sunday that I hope will be helpful and encouraging. On another note, if you're reading the daily readings with us, then today, this Friday, we begin in Leviticus. When you saw that, you may not have been super excited, but I want to encourage you. This is not one of the easiest books in the Bible, but there's a lot here that we can learn from. I also linked in the email a video that I would encourage you to watch as you begin Leviticus. Just a short summary of the book, its themes, its purposes, and I think it will really help you interpret as you go along and hear God speak to you. Leviticus is just as much scripture as any other part of scripture, so it's important that we really learn from this. There's a lot to be gleaned here from this book. So looking forward to worshiping with you Sunday, wherever you are. I hope that you would truly experience the love and grace of Christ today, and the love of God our Father, the grace of Christ, his Son, and the fellowship, the presence of the Spirit with you. Peace.